Hello and welcome back everyone to Last Level Press. I'm Mr. Black and this is Chapter 6 of Let's Play Sage Fusion. And I'm not entirely sure where I should explore next, considering we just returned from our sojourn into the inner globe and emerged a little interpersonally worse for wear, considering the recent tensions amongst Alvons and Marlin. And I've also realized that there's a certain element of conflict within the character of Marlin himself, as I thought about it, and it seemed as though he was actually very quick to empathize with the little robot we came across in the market, and yet when it came time to save public face, he still proclaimed that he hates robots. It seems as though he's not entirely as hard against them as he might otherwise like us to think. So his prompt when I spoke with him was, is there some place we've yet to visit? And I'm not entirely sure what it is. I'm already in downtown. There's the Neo-Vatican interchange. I don't think I've gone there yet. So perhaps this is where I should go. Hello, lady. News reporter on holoscreen. The police are still searching for the Zayan novice who were causing disturbance in Ov City. That's a good thing what that novice did. People from Ov are a bunch of heretics. Aye, that isn't true at all. They may have a different liturgy, but that doesn't make them heretics. Different liturgy. They diminish Saint Zevosigan's status to a mere preacher, and you say different liturgy. Well, to be fair, even the book of Zevosigan itself never says anything about him being a direct messenger of Deus. This is coming across as an awfully direct parallel to a couple of real-world religions. It was only because of Neo-Vatican's dogma that he was regarded as such. You can't consider only one small part of Codex while completely disregarding the other 50 books or so in it. It may not be explicitly stated in any one book, but when you read the Codex as a whole, there is no question about his status. Let's go, Vons. This looks like it's gonna turn ugly. We don't want to be here when it does. Yeah. Those kinds of arguments never go well. Alright. Givest thou to the poor, and to thee Deus shall give happiness, for thy Lord knoweth what thou dost. I am the poor, sir. Will you donate to the poor, sir? And thus spake the Lord, he who giveth, liveth. Sir, didn't you hear, sir? Please give me some credits, as the Codex says God will repay you back, so you should give me some credits. Can I? Please give me some credits. I apparently cannot. Alright, hi there. This barge takes you directly to Neo-Vatican Complex. Alright. I'll hop the place, I suppose? Ride transport barge to Neo-Vatican. Why not? The transport barge that brings us to Neo-Vatican Complex is packed with people. People with stern and serious faces, as usual. This is one of the most effective public transportation systems in Kapstadt, interconnecting various sectors from all over the planet. The government calls itself a model of democracy. They argue that as long as you own credits, the transport barge will take you to wherever you want to go, regardless of class, irrespective of status, no question asked. But the transport barge is not without its problems. Its reputation is marred by stories of women being harassed by hoodlums, not to mention the thefts, robbings, and other kinds of crimes. So to combat the rise of criminal activities in the transport barge, the Public Transport Authority is planning to divide the service into executive class, business class, and economy class, an ultimate irony for democracy. While for the citywide transport barge, the policy isn't yet put into effect, similar thing has to some extent happened with this Neo-Vatican barge. If you are not deemed presentable, they may not let you ride to Neo-Vatican. Speaking of Neo-Vatican, it seems we are nearly there. Out the window, the Basilica of St. Vals stands proudly in the center of the Neo-Vatican complex. That is a church building which serves as the icon of Neo-Vatican, or even the Zayan Church itself. Its tower resembles a white sword that pierces through the sky. The surface of Kapstadt is already hundreds of meters above ground, and this basilica was erected on top of it. I think I recognize that. Is that the complex? The introductory characters infiltrated? Vaticanus Novus Ecclesiae Zianae. Apparently it means the new Vatican of the Zayan Church, or so I've heard. It amuses me that they still use this dead language. They now call it Zayan language, but from what I know, it's really, really old. Am I incorrect in thinking that's Latin? Because I think it's Latin. In fact, they use this as a tradition borrowed from one of the old religions. Yep. So the Zayan Church is an extremely distant descendant of, I'm assuming, Catholicism. I don't think the old religions had anything as flashy as this basilica, though. The tower is so damn tall. This is a rather interestingly presented scene, a certain cinematic element to it. Not only is it tall, the Basilica of St. Val's is gigantic. I reckon you can fit tens of thousands of people inside the main hall alone. Not surprising, as this is where the President and its ministry hold the annual celebration of the Great Day of Pascha. Looking it up close, one can't help but be overwhelmed by its massiveness. From the plaza where I stand, I can barely see the top. It's almost as if the tower is endless. Directly in front of the basilica is the plaza, an open space where people of all sorts are gathered. I can see people who go across the plaza to get inside the basilica. There are those who simply are looking around, or clergy in their long clerical clothing walking about the plaza. This basilica is really something else. You think? It's magnificent, isn't it? Truly a marvel on both art and technology. There's this feeling of serenity emanating from it. I'm not sure that's the word I'd have chosen. I think Marlin is on the same page. There is a certain place somewhat hidden in this complex, not too far from the basilica, named Centrum Compasio. I can't see anything in the direction at which Marlin is pointing beyond the walls of the basilica, but it does exude a different kind of aura than the rest of the area. Alright, we're definitely moving into a certain anime sort of theme here. Centrum Compasio? Centrum Compasio, or the Compassion Center, sometimes also called the Repentance Chamber, is a place of reconciliation. This is where sinners ask for forgiveness, repent, and pay for their sins. Inside the chamber, priests are more than willing to help them right their wrongs, by means of charity, they say. I could feel a hint of fear and disgust in Marlin's face as he uttered the word charity. However, so there was this one friend of mine. He was a businessman, just like me, but he was more honest. He never tried to hide the fact that he was trading profane goods. When questioned by the Citizen Crusade, he stated that he didn't believe that just because something is not declared proper by the church, it is inherently evil. Stupid fella he was. That was, of course, a false belief. A blasphemy, a desecration. He was disrespectful, irreverent. I don't remember what else they called him. So they took him into the chamber to save him, to make him see the light, to get him back onto the path of righteousness. But I guess my friend was beyond help. It is said he was taken to room 101. He came out days later in a coffin, his name neatly engraved. Nobody got to see his body, not even his family. The coffin was tightly shut, locked and sealed. But I got to speak to someone who handled the coffin. He said that it didn't feel like there was a body inside. More like different pieces unattached to each other. The family was devastated. The only thing that lessened the sorrow from their loss is the promise of eternal life, as said by the priest in the funeral. The body may perish by cause of sins, but the soul lives on. Rejoice, for your brother's soul is not to be delivered into hell. Marlin still looks calm as usual, but at this point there is no mistaking his anger. What a relaxing music. This sounds the same as it did in my home planet. In Hinaz, this song is played at dusk, as the big sun starts to set and the small sun rises to take over with its dim, gentle light. Is that a reference to Tatooine? I think that might be a direct reference. It signals the end of the day, time to stop working and spend time with the family. Evening in Hinaz is like no other planet. It is solemn. It's when light and darkness are intertwined. Twilight. It's coming from that direction. Your comment makes me feel all tired all of a sudden. Let's find a place where I can relax and smoke a cigar. Eh? But we only got here. I want to at least enter the basilica. Am I correct in thinking that Alphonse is indeed of the Zayan Church? I can't recall exactly what it said of the religious text in his things when I first transitioned from the prologue to these characters. I want to think it was indeed this religion that he's implied to ascribe to. Fine, we'll get inside the basilica and then we can find a place here in Neo-Vatican where we can take a rest. That was a clever camera pan. I'm impressed with that. Alright, I suppose I'll chat with some of the locals. Father? The citizens of Neo-Vatican are people of the church, clerics and pilgrims. The clerics gather all kinds of information about Zeon followers, and everything related to the religious activities all over the galaxy. Alright then. How about you? Bible scholar. People who are new to Zeon teachings are often confused by the many names we call our deity. The official name given by Neo-Vatican is Deus Universalis, meaning the universal God that governs the entire universe, also called Deus for short. The term God and Lord are also used, but they refer to the more general meaning of the words, as in Deus is our God or Deus is our Lord. In any case, when said by a Zeon, these all refer to Deus. Fake! Everything is fake! Please don't mind him. I'm bringing my friend to see a priest for exorcism. I think he is possessed by evil spirits. Right. So, heresy is considered to be possession. There is a certain element of heavy-handedness in the allegorical narrative at work here. There is not a place in Capistad better than here, Neo-Vatican. This is one holy place among the corrupt Capistad. Our administration is actually better than the government. We have the list of all people belonging to Zeon congregation, which is almost all citizens of the galaxy. We are determined to show that the Neo-Vatican complex is more well managed than the Union itself is. I shall warn you, young men, not to cause a scene. Be silent, make peace with your hearts before you enter the Basilica. Alright, fair enough. I'll show some respect. I mean, this is you guys' house. Hello, nun lady. We all have but one destination. Followers of Zeon from all places in the galaxy are to acquire peace. Peace in an alternate universe, Mundus Xenonus, the realm of Xenon. Alright, I assume that's space heaven? I don't know. Do you know the reason why we have proper and profane designation for electronic devices? I do not. I assume you're about to explain it. No. I am not surprised. Many people blindly adhere to the teaching that proper is good and profane is evil, without ever questioning why. Not that the teaching is wrong, but behind it there is history. Being aware of this history is important so one can have better understanding about proper and profane. I seem to recall something about a war with robots. Are you interested in hearing this story? Yes, I am. Many centuries ago, human beings ruled the galaxy by employing highly advanced technologies. Science enabled humans to conquer nature. Planets that were otherwise inhospitable could be transformed into an environment that more or less resembled humans' natural planet. Alright, so terraforming. It was to the point that nobody even knew anymore what this alpha planet was. Some people traveled to less known planets in small groups. In doing so, they became free men, bounded no longer by their original nationalities. They were free to build their own kingdoms in their very own planets and live the lives of nobles. Inevitably, they found that they had not enough people to keep a community running, so they built robots to perform mundane tasks that no human willed to do. Some even resorted to human cloning to enlarge the population. Eventually, the technology spread. Robots became ubiquitous, as did variants of it, like androids and cyborgs. Eventually, artificial intelligence technology advanced to the point that robots' intelligence surpassed that of humans in every imaginable way. Humans could compete with robots no more. Anything that a human could do, a robot could do the same, but better and much more efficient. This led to a lot of socioeconomic issues, and some people decided to rebel. This led to the war between humans and robots. That is how it is commonly described, is it not? However, it really was not that simple. In reality, it was a rebellion by those whom society had abandoned, more like a civil war. People who had power used robots to fight their fights, and that was how the war evolved into a war between humans and robots. As we know, in the end, humans came out victorious. Even though robots were smart, they lacked creativity. They possessed not imagination, they knew not spirituality. After the war, people got united again. They formed a union to govern the whole galaxy under the banner of democracy. Our saints, who were heroes of the war, decided that any intelligent being whose intelligence isn't natural is evil. Intelligence can only be good if it is bestowed by Deus. This is the reason why the Church bans any device with an artificial intelligence that resembles human intelligence too much. We call it profane. Any electronic device now has to be audited by the Church to make sure that it is safe, or proper as we call it. Only then can this device be used by people. That is the story behind proper and profane. Alright, so that kind of explains some things. And I wonder now at the state of the little fella that Marlin now carries. I'm not sure it was implied that that thing had an AI, unless we simply haven't seen much of it yet. Alright. What is this? Got one revitalizer. Alright. You guards have anything to say? Sorry, sir. This way is currently closed. They are still investigating last night's incident. Aha! Referencing the prologue. Shh! There's nothing going on here. The priests are preparing for a festival this way. It's temporarily closed. We apologize for the inconvenience. Right, so somebody just violated OPSEC. Heh, sorry. Actually, have I spoken with this guy yet? Go through this door to enter the basilica. Alright, can I go this way? I think I kind of want to investigate the surrounds prior to heading inside. I see another case. I'll grab that right away. I see a gift shop already. Got one recovery kit. I feel like smoking a cigar. Why don't we chat for a bit here, Vons? Or do you still want to look around? Actually, I still want to see the inside of the basilica. Okay, let's do that and then come back here. Alright, so I suppose I should do that then, since I think that's what the game is hinting at. Alright, inside, and the organs have returned. Wow. So huge, and it looks really majestic. Can't say I'm not impressed. Well, take your time admiring the place. At least Marlin's a kind employer, allowing his employee to enjoy himself for his personal proclivities. Let's see. Praise ye Deus, who ruleth all planets. Epistle to the Galaxy, Chapter 4, Verse 12. The somewhat archaic language used in the official common language translation of Codex Divinum, the Zayn Bible, may sound alien for some. It is worth noting, however, that there is a good reason behind its use, namely to avoid ambiguity, as the language is, in some cases, more expressive. Consider the case of second-person personal pronoun, for example. In our everyday modern language, the word you can be both singular and plural, and can be used as both subjects and objects. But in the older dialect, as is used in the Codex, there are different words to represent second-person pronoun depending on the case and whether it is singular or plural. The singular subjective case is thou, singular objective is thee, plural subjective is ye, and plural objective is you. Alright, I was actually unaware of that. That's kind of interesting. Do you know the saint on your right? I do not. That is St. Vals. He is also the name borne by this basilica, the Basilica of St. Vals. In Zayn, St. Zivosigan is regarded as the most important saint. That is not wrong, but people often forget that St. Vals preceded St. Zivosigan. St. Vals was probably also even more influential. There are many legends surrounding him, some of which are even rejected by the Church due to unbelievability and lack of historical evidence. St. Vals is titled the Ecce Meditans, which literally means the meditating knight, but it is formally translated by the Church as Sage Knight. And also, I apologize if I am horribly mispronouncing any of the Latin. I've mentioned a couple of times, I've never taken any Latin courses, so I'm simply making some kind of uneducated guesses as to the pronunciation of some of these words. Alright then. Lady, have I already spoken with you? No. How many spaceships do you think would fit in this basilica? A couple. Hey, none, lady. Oh, jeez. Ouch! Oh, I'm sorry. God damn it, you fool! Don't you have eyes, asshole? Jeez! Sorry. Ah, that stupid dang thing should be in operation now. Time to go. Wow, a foul-mouthed nun. Now, that's something you don't see every day. I bet inside the ministry should be all quiet and nice and shit and stuff. Still is a statue of a saint and polite like an angel. What a hypocrite. Sadly, she reminds me of my own family. Never misses a prayer, knows every sacred day by heart. Won't even befriend people of different beliefs out of fear of being influenced. Yet when it comes to business, there's no hesitation to crush their rivals until they have nothing, or even until they're dead. These people are actors. Actors who pretend they're admirable people inside the church, but are despicable outside, aren't they? You're wrong, Marlon. Religion doesn't make good people good or bad. It shows people ways to become good, but it all depends on the person, whether they want to see or not. Is that so? Say what you want, but I don't have such a positive outlook on this whole Zayn thing. The president should really be wary of this place. Coup d'etat can happen any time from here. But of course, nobody dares to investigate the place. People would complain that they defile a holy place. But will those who want to overthrow the government care whether the place is holy or not? In fact, doesn't every rebel base his action on righteousness? You're looking at this in a much too complicated perspective. Maybe so. Dunno. I suspect either of you can learn some things from the other. The original teachings of Zayn is about relationship with oneself, relationship between people, and even with the universe. They are all formed on the basis of love and charity. But people today have misunderstood the teaching of Zivosigan. There are some who think that the only solution for many problems in the Union is religion. It is not at all wrong, since religion could motivate us to make a better world for all people. But the ones of whom I am speaking, they would turn the Xian religion into political power. It is dangerous. Politics that are backed by religion are like a car that have not a brake. You keep driving faster and faster until it is all too late. I can actually agree with that, a lot. Religion's all well and good. Theocracies, history teaches us they don't usually end up well. They are praying, we shouldn't bother them. Alright, so can I head inside? I can face the altar at least. It doesn't seem as though I can head down in there. Can I speak with you? No. Alright, have I spoken with this guy? Mix not politics and religion, for it is dangerous. Alright, I think that's all I came to see. So, let's enjoy some cigar time, I suppose. Let's see, I'll chat with these folks. This marketplace feels relaxing. Basilica is grand and magnificent, but for some reason you just feel afraid. It is a little intimidating, yes. Maybe it's because you feel so minuscule in the face of the Basilica. But once you get to this marketplace, you don't feel that anymore. The place is just so lively. Good day, misters. Can I interest you in some Xian relics? What you see here are a rosary and a vial of holy water from the Veneta waterfall. What a sight to behold, aren't they? They bring miracles. Miracles, I say! Just the other day, I had a very sick friend who brought these, and guess what? He was cured, just like that, and he was cured. Praise be to Deus. So what do you say, sirs? Sounds 500 sol. Quite a bargain, no? No thanks. Someone's a purveyor and a pusher of religious relics. This camera is unique. It has an enclosure that can be easily taken apart so you can disassemble the components inside. Most electronic devices today are not like this. I seem to recall the guy in Inner Globe needed a camera. Wait, that means I can get the DSP camera inside it. That's one of the items requested by Dr. Isaac. You see? Are you interested in that camera? Sorry, but that camera's not for sale. Can we get it from you somehow? Nah, man, I can't sell it yet. What if I could? What's wrong? I need to get it proper certified first. I couldn't care less about the law, but I will not commit sinful acts. Without proper certification, it is considered profane, right? Well, it is legally profane, although it is not necessarily profane. Huh? I don't get it. What is profane, anyway? You're a merchant here and you don't know? Oh, I need to actually, answer this. So, profane is unnatural intelligence. Yes. Anything which possesses intelligence resembling a human's, but its intelligence isn't natural, is considered profane. In other words, artificial intelligence that is too close to human intelligence. And not a camera. What's wrong with human-like artificial intelligence? Oh, man. Why are you a merchant in the Neo-Vatican if you don't even know the very foundation of their faith? It caused war. Some thousands of years ago, the war happened. It was a great war between humans and automatons. I think it's a good thing I listened to that story prior to coming here. The church doesn't want anything like that happening again, so AI that can become a threat is not allowed. How did the war start? Let's see. Robots wanted to exterminate humans. Humans couldn't compete with robots. Robots used human brains as CPUs. I think the middle is closest to correct. After conquering the outer space, humans built robots to help them, but robots became smarter than humans, and many people lost their jobs to robots. And how did the war end? Humans won, I suppose? Eventually, humans won, because human beings have creative minds. I understand now, so even though this camera is not yet certified proper, it doesn't mean it is profane, because by itself it can't be used to threaten our lives. Am I right? Thanks a lot. Yeah, you can take the camera. I never really planned to sell it anyway. Alright, simple enough. Got a DSP camera. So, how's about you? Remember, Stodge, you cannot disturb the priests and nuns in the basilica. Do you understand, young man? Nuh-uh. I will tell your father if you won't listen, and then you'll be grounded. Cute and adorable. Do you like to read books? See what you like on the booth to my left. If you prefer relics, check the booth to my right. Okay. Hey, kids. Wow, this place rocks, dude. That church was boring, but this marketplace is awesome. You don't say. Everybody knows you just gotta visit Neo-Vatican Marketplace if you have traveled all the way to Kapstadt. Why do you boys like this place so much? It's really crowded. I'd rather be in the Basilica. Uh-huh. Alright then. There are various kinds of religious relics on display here. Okie dokie. The Theocracy of Galactic Government, an illusion. Saint Severin's Way of Meditation. Apostolic Blessing according to Aramis Berg Theology. The Road Towards a Holy Galactic Kingdom. And a lot of other books. Alright then. How's about you, sir? Are you looking to buy something? Apparently not. Alright. I feel like smoking a cigar. Why don't we chat for a bit here, Vons? Or do you still want to look around? Yeah, we can rest here. The cigar in Marlon's right hand is lit. He leans forward to the handrail, staring far into the breathtaking view of the city visible from the balcony. The city below is full of buildings that are all tall and shiny, like they are coated in pure silver. The view is gorgeous, not unlike that which we saw as we were about to land on the planet. Oh, I forgot to offer you a cigar. You want one, Vons? His hand tries to reach in his pocket, where he keeps quite a lot of cigars. He probably saves them for occasions like this. I've quit, since 5 years ago. 5 years? So you did smoke. What were you like 5 years ago, Vons? Was he the same sort of person as who I'm looking at now? You are very strong in a fight, but I can tell that you always try to avoid it. Is that who you are? Who you were? A man so patient he just stood silent as a barbaric nun screamed profanities at him. You're being over the top, Marlon. I don't think she was a nun. She looked young, most likely a novice. She'll learn how to have better attitude in the process of becoming a nun. Now look at you defending her. You're too kind. I just hope you're not going to be as kind when a space pirate's about to kill me. But I'm not that kind. I can see Marlon's subtle smile as he blows the smoke from his cigar, still leaning to the handrail in front of him that parts the balcony from the sea of shiny metal buildings below. He now looks up at the blue sky, adorned by holographic rings encircling the basilica. Besides, my job description didn't say anything about defending myself against a sister in a bad mood. Whoa! It's funny how that laugh caused his cigar to almost fall out of his mouth, and he caught it in reflex. Good lord, that almost killed me! How far is it from here to the frickin' ground below? 200 meters, give or take 50. Marlon now turns around, facing the other way. If his cigar falls again, it'll be to the balcony floor. That's probably what he thought. You undervalue yourself, Vons. Even a Mazda mosquito would feel safer flying around you. You know, I'm a merchant. I've met a lot of people. I've seen all kinds of personality, and I'm seldom wrong. But you know what? I don't give much thought to the past. The past traps you, Vons, if you give in to it. The future, on the other hand, is a mystery, or an illusion. Neither of them is real. What's real is the present. The present. Marlon pauses as he smokes his cigar again. I'm sorry, I can't read. Again. The present is what's most important, Vons. As the sun that is shining so brightly at the buildings below blinds me for that brief moment of time, my mind drifts together with a gust of wind, taking me back to that time. That time. A long time before this day. How long? Before the encounter with Kiffy? Before Mother operated on me? That ship. That ship. Oh my. I always knew I was strong. Ridiculously, abnormally strong. Had always been, since as far back as when I was just a kid. I would win every fight without exception, even when the opponents ganged up on me. There was a time when I came home all bruised and beat up. I could see the horror in Mother's eyes as she saw me. She was worried, not about me, but about whomever it was I'd fought against. My hometown in Hinaz was a peaceful town, but I could never find peace. To me, the world felt like a hostile place, like everybody out there was out to get me. I would react to everything I deemed offensive, even a mere insult, and I would answer with my fist. Gosh, I was too strong. It was a wonder how God thought it was a good idea to give me the kind of superpower similar to that of the magical knights from olden fairy tales. My mother wasn't the religious type. Like most people, she went to church services, but I always had a feeling that she didn't really believe in God. After all, she refused a gift from God, my power. Mother believed that the power itself wasn't dangerous, so she went to the root problem, which she said was anger. It was anger, not the power, that needed restraint. So long as I wasn't enraged, I wouldn't turn into that horrible beast. So control the anger she did. It wasn't as big a deal for my mother, who was a neuroscientist in a local academy. She had done years of research in neurology and biotechnology. She did it by installing a chipset onto the back of my neck. A chipset that suppressed the anger. It was amazing to think that a device not larger than a pebble could turn someone into a different person. At first I resisted. I didn't want a chip controlling me, didn't want it changing who I was. Most importantly, perhaps, I didn't want to feel like an animal that was being used for an experiment in a laboratory. or to be likened to those animals in farms that had to be implanted with similar chipsets to make them more obedient and more productive. Yet Mother assured me that it wasn't at all like that. In fact, she promised that I would become a better human, one that would be capable of love, one that wouldn't be forever enslaved by anger. Peace was an offer I couldn't say no to, so I gave in to Mother's demand and took the chipset. From then on, my life literally changed. No longer was I the man who got angry at everything and everyone. No more did I feel any negative emotion. Those days flew by like a dream. When some kids threw dirt at me, I ignored them and hurried back home. When some city watch members accused me of stealing from the mayor's wife's store and hit me with their sticks, I didn't fight back. I just smiled at them until they felt tired and left. It was all the chip's doing. It wouldn't let rage or sadness overtake me. It programmed my emotion, forcing me to smile and even to sympathize. I became a good man, perhaps even better than a saint. Everyone was puzzled by my sudden transformation. Priests wanted to find out how a hoodlum changed into a man that was incapable of anger. Mother was silent about it. Mind control technology, as was the case of cyborg technology, was considered taboo by the Codex because it eliminated free will, disrespecting human dignity as free beings. Consequently, the Church declared it profane. The Zayan law was the law, and therefore such an operation was illegal. Going against the law meant going against religion, which meant going against God, an act punishable by death. But why was it so? The chip had let me discover love. Kiffy always praised me for never getting angry, for always being patient, even as she was being childish. She said it was my good nature that made her just nod silently as I put the gold ring on her finger. Kiffy was my only family, other than Mother. From her I got two others, Tristan and Viridian. At that point, I got reminded of what Mother had said, for I had found my peace. All that was left was to raise my kids, help them grow up to be like me and Kiffy, and then the two of us could grow old together and forget about life and death. But the chip wouldn't stop working. Kiffy, Tristan, and Viridian were on a space travel to visit Kiffy's family when space pirates attacked their space liner and killed everyone. I was working on that fateful day. As a government administrator, I couldn't leave work, so I didn't go with them. It was a decision that I would regret for life. The news hit hard. Mother could not stop crying for days. I, meanwhile, didn't feel anything. Not sorrow, not even a little bit of sadness. Not a single tear was shed. As 3 coffins arrived at my door, I smiled emotionless. That was about the only thing the chip had programmed me to do. Mother blamed the government. The problem with space pirates was long known, but the government wouldn't do anything about it. Defense fund intended to protect space travelers went to corrupt government officials instead. Mother kept petitioning against them, criticizing and protesting politicians in Kapistad. As a representative of the Academy, she joined a public forum that functioned as watchdog for the government. That was one terrible mistake she made. In doing so, she had exposed herself. She became a person of interest for the authority. Government agencies searched for information about her and, among other things, found out about the chip that controlled emotion. Indeed, Mother was an academic scholar. Even as her work was against religion, she wrote extensive documentation and journals in great detail. A person adequately skillful in the art would be able to replicate her work by following these documents. Then the inevitable happened, and I was there when it all did. Mother, clothed in a prisoner's uniform, was brought forth to face the judge in Wheat Square, 2 guards at her side. Still I felt nothing. The chip just wouldn't let me weep or sob, let alone cry in anguish. I did frown a little, or so I believed, but it was more of a sympathy rather than unhappiness. But emotionless as I was, I couldn't just let Mother face an unjust punishment. This is not justice, I thought. So in that instance, I abandoned reason. As the thought of lasers going through Mother's body filled my mind, I stood up without fear and shouted, "My mother is innocent! She cured me through the use of technology!" As hundreds of pairs of eyes gazed my way, I slowly turned to face the other way and tucked my shirt to reveal the back of my neck. The secret was out. People gasped. The look in their faces were akin to that of someone in the face of a beast. I didn't look at Mother then, but I knew she cried. She must not have expected me to do what I did. She didn't regret her doing, but she certainly felt sorry and was deeply moved because I was there, that I was there for her. The next thing happened all too fast. Before I knew it, the back of a City Watch's rifle hit my head hard, causing me to fall, the side of my face hitting the cold stone floor. I was barely conscious. My mind was blank. I could hear some faint sounds, but nothing clear, nothing except Mother's scream. I heard her shout my name. She was trying to tell me something, but between the roar from the City Watch and her own trembling voice, I couldn't make out what she said. But then it stopped. I couldn't hear Mother anymore. What were left were sounds of people shouting, booing, cheering, swearing. As I laid down on the floor, almost without motion, the City Watch kept beating me. They kicked me, stomped at me, laughing as they did that. I lost count of how many punches and kicks I took. Wasn't even sure if I was awake, yet perhaps due to the chip or the emotional shock, I felt nothing. Not pain, nor agony. The only thing I could feel then was sadness. Funny how I missed that feeling. Faces of Mother, Tristan, and Viridian, and also Kiffy flashed in my eyes. I got reminded of them, the good people in my life that had to live in a harsh and unforgiving world. There was no sign of the beating going to stop. I might have felt nothing of it, but my body disagreed. The taste of blood in my mouth was unmistakable. The sound of bones cracking as a kick landed on my ribs was clear as anything else I could hear. I felt pain. It hurt. But not my ribs that took the kicks. Those didn't hurt. Neither did my spine that was being stomped on. It was the back of my neck. The pain on the back of my neck was unbearable. It felt like burning. That chip. That chip. Hey, look, do you think this person's dead? He ain't moving. Nah, man, still alive. That's no person. It's a cyborg. It hasn't got a bloody mind of its own. That's just a body controlled by a stinking chip. It's like we're disposing of a goddamn broken robot or something. Oh, you darn butt. How are you involved in this blasphemy, you pig? You bastard. Was that your mother, eh? Bloody hell, man. The mother turned her child into this abomination. Hey, look at that. I think that was the chip. You arse, tell me, what the hell is this? Answer me, you filthy trash. This ain't fun, man. He's as good as dead. Listen, you darn brat, you probably can't see well by now, but I'm sure your nose is still working. Can you not smell that? You smell that, mate? The smell of roasted meat? Smell it. Savor the aroma, because this is the last thing you have to remember your mummy before we put you in the bloody cell. I am free. Dude, the guy's still alive after all. Yeah, but whoever hit his head must have hit him too hard. Did you hear what he said? Oh, the poor bloke spoke of being free just as he was going to jail. Oh, that dream of mine, which I shall never see, how very mean of thee. Why didst thou emerge in me? Stop that, man. That's depressing. You almost make me feel sad for him. Almost. All right, people, that is enough. Take him to his cell. The execution is over. All right, let's take it. Hey, my hand. My hand! Ah! What? No way. It can't be. He got up. He's up. Ah! Shoot! Shoot him down! Well, this just got very, very emotional. Stampede. Is that a Vash reference? Oh my. That's all I can do. Oh my. I'm paying attention to the numbers coming off of that, and it's kind of frightening. Run! Run, you scums! Run to your mothers! Don't show your faces to me again, because I will murder each and every one of you swines! I'll blow your heads, tear your limbs, spread your intestines for dogs and boars to feast upon! Your cries of agony will be sympathy to my ears, traces of your blood paintings to my eyes. For today I've been liberated, free from what had bound me. 15 years of fury will be unleashed upon all you evildoers. Be afraid, be very afraid, for Alphonse is free and angry. Witness in terror as he rages as a frumious bandersnatch. All right then. He is angry, and he is out to get you. He seeks revenge, and revenge he shall get, for he has sworn on this very day that you all shall pay. Alright, I know that was supposed to be a very emotional scene, however that last part, incredibly lame, I'm sorry to say. Alphonse. 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 Hey! What's with you? Spacing out like that. You scared me, man. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Really? Oh, I know, you must have been thinking something naughty. What? Let's see, was it the novice? No, it wasn't anything like that. So you can raise your voice after all. Relax, dude. That was a joke. Don't take everything so seriously. It's good to have some fun every once in a while. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm bored. Uh-huh. And on that note, I'll leave this episode here, because I suspect something is about to happen. And that answered a great deal of questions regarding Alvance and his history. I'm actually rather intrigued with that. It went very anime for a little while, and it definitely delved into more of the interactive novel aspect of this particular title. However, I'm still enjoying this. It's still a little heavy-handed in places, however, not so much as to render the entire experience unenjoyable. So, stick around for the next chapter of this here at Last Level Press. I'm Mr. Black, and as always, wish you all good gaming, and Godspeed. I'm worried. 0, 3, 2, 4, 1. Unexpected error? You son of a...